You're listening to Tehachapod with Key Budge, Corey Costello, and Greg Garrett.
Tehachapod time once again. Key Budge, Corey Costello, and Greg Garrett. Guys, how are you?
Doing good, Key. Thank you.
Fantastic. Happy to be back.
Hey, we had a city council meeting this week, Greg. So I'm going to throw it to you. It was very quick, but we had a few things that we went before council.
It was brief, but every one of the items that were presented were good items. So back to some summer events. I'm excited. The July 4th festival, City Council approved that. So we're moving forward with that. And then the 2022 Farmers Market starts the first Thursday after Memorial Day on Green Street, downtown Tehachapi.
Applications really available right now online.
That's right. So you can call Mariana at City Hall or go online, and we encourage local farmers, local vendors to participate.
Our events were well attended last year, so I anticipate this year we're going to pick up right where we left off.
That's right.
People are going to be out. They're going to be out in the streets. And just a reminder, if you come on out, take a few extra minutes, get dinner locally downtown, check out some of the other shops. It's in taking the full experience on your Thursdays with the Farmers Market.
We've got some amazing restaurants downtown. We'll also have vendors that are providing hot food. There will be live music every Thursday night. Yay.
The stage is back at Centennial Plaza now that Village Collective's finished building, so the stage will be available, and it's awesome now. With
last year was so successful, and this year I expect it to be as successful, if not more.
It's going to be a good time. Things to look forward to. So today, we want to welcome in a special guest. This is our police chief, Kent Kroeger. Chief, welcome to Tehachapod, and thank you for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
This is going to be a very informational-based show. There's so much stuff to talk about, but public safety is the reason why we're working in government.
Well, it's one of the things that are near and dear to my heart. Everybody that works at the city, we're supporting the police department. I know the city council and this city, all the residents support TPD, and we will continue to do so. And we've had a reduction in crime and a lot of challenges from the state of California, but we continue to do good work.
So compliments to you and your team, because I know they work hard. We see them driving around the streets all the time, so they're very visible, very present. And we've had a few things that have occurred here recently that you've put out to the media. So why don't we touch on that, because those are topics that do get talked about in the public, and your team has been able to make some positive impact in those areas.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a really good crew out there that work hard every day. We've had some crime issues that we've been dealing with here in the city, primarily theft-related, auto thefts, catalytic converter thefts. Really drives our crime rate here that we have in the city of Tehachapi.
Chief, a lot of the cars that are stolen, is it true that people are leaving the keys in their car?
Yeah, and unfortunately, we do have that. It occurs pretty frequently. I was looking at the statistics for the year. We were probably at about 16 auto thefts, which is extremely high for us for 2022. And almost all of those, the keys were in the car, or the car had been left running. So, crimes of opportunity. And, unfortunately, Tehachapi, we're not immune from the criminals, and they're up here, and they're coming into our area, and they're looking for those easy opportunities to commit a crime.
They're taking advantage of our trust, because you trust your neighbors. People trust their neighbors. I'm going to start my car. My neighbor not going to touch my car. And they just think, I'm going to start my car. I'm going to leave my keys in it, whatever it may be. I'm going to trust my neighbors. But the criminals know, hey, these people are really trusting, and they're going to give me an opportunity, and that's what seems to be happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we have the cold weather, winter months. Everyone wants to go out and start their car in the morning to get it warmed up and get the windows defrosted, go in and finish their last cup of coffee and come out to a nice warm car. And unfortunately, on several occasions, they've come out and that car is gone.
And I've noticed a lot of the criminals are coming in from Cal City and Mojave. Let's be frank about it. Yeah, they're coming here and providing an opportunity here.
Right. We've had a number of arrests that involve people from out of the area, transient type crime that I would consider it. People that are coming in from Mojave, California City, Lancaster, Bakersfield, those areas. They're coming here and they're committing crimes.
And what do they do? They steal a car, and what do they do with that car?
Frequently, most of our cars are recovered in other areas, Roseman, Mojave, California City. Most of them are not stripped or damaged in any way. They're using it for transportation.
It's their get bus. Yeah. They're using these cars to get from point A to point B.
Well, we do have regional transit, so if a criminal's listening, please, it's only $1.
Yeah.
We subsidize the heck out of that. It's $1.
And didn't they just fish like 14 vehicles out of the aqueduct down in Bakersfield somewhere, West Kern area?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, man.
14 cars?
Yeah, they're
the
just
aqueduct?
fishing them out.
Well, no wonder there's no water delivery in this state. There's a big dam of vehicles.
Yeah, exactly. The cars are blocking all the pipes. Yeah.
And you'll see with a lot of ours are just repeat offenders. We're arresting the same folks over and over and over again, and they're right back out doing the same thing. So it's a little discouraging on our end, but we still have to continue to go out there and aggressively pursue those that are committing crimes in our area, and that's what we're doing. So we're going to continue to do that.
And Chief, I had in my big bold print here in my notes to bring up and ask. You know, the state of California, and all the listeners know, I beat up on the state all the time because they deserve it. But, you know, when you talk about Prop 46, Prop 47, you know, this revolving door, you know, when I was a kid, Grand Theft Auto, that was a big deal. You would go to prison. Nowadays, you get slapped on the hand, you get a ticket, and you're released, and you're back in Tehachapi with a stolen car out of Bakersfield maybe before our guys get back, right?
Yeah, that's unfortunate part of our business that we're dealing with right now. We've had a lot of not so favorable changes come down from Sacramento over the years. You can look back to 2014 with the initiation of Prop 47. Prop 47 being a big one, really, you know, was a problem, has created a problem for us, in my opinion. A lot of the drug crimes have been reduced to misdemeanors, so we're giving citations for people that are in possession of methamphetamine, possession of heroin. You know, I've been in this business for about 33 years now, and there's just something really that doesn't sit well with me, just fundamentally wrong to give someone a ticket that's in possession of methamphetamine and send them on their way. It's
I couldn't agree
more. It's just
disgusting.
Wrong.
And that's like, it's not, I mean, all drugs have their own issues, but that's like the granddaddy of them all. You know, I mean, want to talk about just destroying your life and doing terrible things. I mean, methamphetamine is up near the top of the list.
And your family's life, and your community's life.
Yeah. And you know, and I think, you know, these sentencing laws and the way that they set this up was, you know, they didn't want to be overly harsh on these individuals, and felt they could get better treatment in the community, and a number of other things that kind of led to this. Unfortunately, I don't think these folks that have drug issues, that are addicted to methamphetamine, heroin, they're not getting the help that they need. You know, previously they would be at least incarcerated for a period of time, which would give them an opportunity to at least get clean for a short period of time and possibly get on the right path to getting their lives together, get some treatment while they were in custody. And that's not happening anymore. You know, they're given a ticket and they're right back out on the streets, trying to support that habit.
Yeah, and the numbers speak for themselves, right? And if you were in prison at the CDC, they have programs, like you say.
Right.
But on the street, there are no programs on the street.
Yeah. No, there's not. And, you know, I mean, we have services out there and we refer people to stuff, but they're not really forced into these programs anymore. And there was a time, you know, where the court system could force them into some type of a treatment center or rehabilitation program to get them off of drugs and hopefully get them set on the right path, you know. And so we've got, you know, Prop 47 from 2014, then you go to 2016 with Prop 57, which, you know, started offering early parole for people, nonviolent offenders, which put more people out on the street, also designed to reduce prison populations. And then, you know, most recently with COVID, you know, they had to reduce populations because of COVID. So a lot of these offenders that would be normally housed in county jail or state prison, they're out on the streets now, you know, and I think that you can see that. You can see that in crime across the state. You can see that in the increase in homeless population. You know, I think a lot of our homeless people have substance abuse issues, and that's why they are where they are. So they're not getting the help they need.
Well, one of the many reasons why, you know, respect you and your team because you are arresting the same people a lot of the time over and over again, but you keep arresting them. Despite all these challenges you're pointing out, you're going to they're breaking the law, they're disrupting the quality of life, and you continue. I mean, last week you got a catalytic converter thief and then 2, stolen vehicle issues, and you've worked with other agencies very well, California City Police Department on one of the last ones. So, I mean, the fact that, you know what, you're still doing the job. You and your team are still doing the job and still trying to keep Tehachapi safe.
And doing it well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they work hard, and I can, at times, you can certainly sense that frustration when you've arrested that same guy 4, 5, 6, 20 times.
He's got to know your officers by their first name. And he's like, hey, what's up?
20 times. That's our role. Yeah. Our role is to apprehend these offenders and put forth the best case that we can, give it to the district attorney and allow them to prosecute that. And what happens on that back end, that's, we can't allow that to deter us from doing our piece of this. So.
But sometimes you catch them, and there's that enhancement, right? They had a gun and they shouldn't have. They had drugs and they shouldn't have. So maybe eventually those enhancements sort of catch up to those people.
Yeah, we're hopeful. We have the latest one we had yesterday. We had an individual that was involved in a potential car theft out in California City. Was also had some warrants for his arrest. California City made us aware of this. We obtained some information on where this individual was located. We were able to get a warrant. And when we got into the location, we recovered a stolen firearm that had been stolen from one of our auto thefts that happened just prior to this. 2 convicted felons, both in possession of a loaded stolen firearm, both under the influence. We're hopeful that those additional charges will at least get these individuals off the streets for a period of time. Again, these folks are not new to us. Pretty regular customers of ours, and we're hoping that these charges, pretty significant, will get them some time in custody and reduce some crime here in our area.
And maybe they can get the help they needed.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
One thing you mentioned was talking about Cal City PD. You mentioned the district attorney. You have working relationships with these neighboring agencies, conversations. You guys share information and just discuss maybe strategy about how apprehension or crime prevention?
Yeah, absolutely. We all work really well together. I'm part of the Kern County Chief Law Enforcement Officers Association, where all the Kern County Chiefs of Police, the District Attorney, the Sheriff Donnie Youngblood, all the Highway Patrol Commanders, we all get together monthly, and we collaborate on everything that we're dealing with and best practices, who's doing what at this agency and what's working, and how can we bring that to our agency and make it work here. Working with the district attorney if we have some type of a crime issue that's occurring within the city of Tehachapi, and working with her and her staff to ensure that those things are taken seriously. And that's one thing that we do have here in Kern County that works exceptionally well for us. We have a fantastic district attorney that really takes public safety seriously. She understands crime, and she is a law and order district attorney, and she's going to make sure that things are taken seriously, and that we act when we present her a case, it's going to get prosecuted the best as she can. So.
Cynthia Zimmer does an outstanding job for Kern County.
Right, and understand this too. She recognizes Tehachapi. She recognizes what goes on in Tehachapi. And while some of the smaller things that we may have here, the larger picture, not what happens in Bakersfield, but she understands what's important to us here in Tehachapi, and she takes that seriously and addresses it for us. So.
That's awesome. I know that we're talking about community policing and our police officers. We have an active recruitment program going on. So if you know somebody, right now it's tough. Let's be honest. Across this nation, people have lost their minds when they talk about defunding police. We're not doing that in the city of Tehachapi. As a matter of fact, we're going to be up funding our police department, but we're always actively looking for talent.
Right. Absolutely. We're always recruiting. We're always looking for people. That's a crisis that everybody's experiencing right now across the country. Always looking for good people, and just the the applicant pool has diminished significantly with a lot of this defund the police, anti-police rhetoric that's out there. But it's still a fantastic profession. I love this profession. I love what I do. Love to have some good people come over here and work with us.
You know, a good testament this past weekend, I was down at the LA Marathon, and they had every, you know, they use mostly LAPD, LA County Sheriff's Office on a few of the intersections, and then a few of the other smaller agencies, Beverly Hills Police Department, a few places. But, you know, we're talking, maybe it was just 22 months ago when they were, you know, burning police cars in Los Angeles. And here are LAPD at every intersection, usually 4 officers or, you know, 2 or 4 officers. And many of them were engaged with the public. They were waving, they were cheering. I mean, it was really an impressive sort of turnaround from what we saw maybe 22 months ago in a place like that. And to see that, you know, there are still folks that are willing to do the job, and they've embraced it, and they're not holding grudges against people that may have been against them because of some political thing 23 months ago that got the nation in an uproar, you know. And it was reassuring to see that, and really kind of think like, you know, there are still going to be folks out there that want to do this profession and do it well.
Yeah, absolutely. And even through those difficult times of protest, and everybody showed up. Yeah. They showed up every day. They showed up every day to be screamed and yelled at and called names and rocks and bottles thrown at them, you know. So, you know, that really shows you these people really care about these communities, and they really want to go out there and do a good job and do what's right. And they're willing to stand up there and take that. So, you know, we didn't have that significant issue here in town. We didn't have the protest. You know, we had some I don't know,
tourists. There were tourists.
We had some picketers.
Protesters that were not from necessarily the city.
We had some protesters, some picketers out on the corner. You know, we worked with them at a distance to make sure that they were safe and being respectful and doing things the right way. I had a couple of little minor issues, but nothing significant, that really put our officers in any significant risk at that time. So again, you know, a testament to our community, what a great community we live in, that we didn't have to deal with those.
Well, I guess the one lesson learned from that, I mean, there's several, but a lot of the cities that kind of caught that sort of wave of we want to kind of fall into this, you know, social media hashtag world and you know, defund our police departments are now looking back and realizing that they made a grave mistake, and they're turning around and adding even more funding back to their departments because of that. And so, you know, credit to this community to never even go down that road, you know, and now we don't have to play catch up, and we didn't have the big problem they had with crime. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've always had the support of the city council, the community, the city manager. Everybody always supports us, and they're always willing to do whatever we need, equipment-wise, personnel-wise, to ensure that we have a great department and a safe community.
Yeah,
that was the point I was just going to hit on is your perspective on the community support, because I know my perspective is it appears that people support, but I see every once in a while, you know, a little girl brings in home-baked cookies for you guys, or you get that kind of that grassroots thank you. Right. And and if you're a prospective officer and you're looking at, there's now communities that defunded their police that are now looking to rehire versus a community that constantly supports. Right. I mean, I know where I would look, but I mean, what's that like for you guys? You put on the uniform every day.
Yeah, no, it's huge, and that support that we get, and that's one of the things that I constantly remind my personnel of, and that I constantly remind people when I go out on recruiting, is that we have a community that supports us. You know, we don't have the anti-police rhetoric going on here, and when all of the bad stuff was going on, like you said, we had people coming up delivering cookies and pizzas. We had so much pizza that was.
I remember you said that
was coming to us.
You're like, please, no more pizza, guys. We appreciate it, but you know, we can't eat pizza again.
The pizza restaurants loved it, though. You know?
They did.
But it's all good. It's all good. It's whether you eat it or not. It's a thought.
Yeah. It's just great. You know, kids wave at you with all of their fingers. So no, it's really great to be able to work in a community like that, and that's what brought me here. You know, I've lived here for over 20 years. I worked down in the LA area for over 25 years, and to come here and to be a chief in my town where I live, that's what brought me here, and that's what kept me here.
That's special.
And Chief is going to be throwing out the first pitch for the high school baseball team.
Oh,
right.
the pressure's on.
But where do you ever see that? Yeah. Where do you see where the local high school team or anyone says the police, the chief, would you come out and throw out the first pitch to kick off our season?
So, Chief, have you been practicing?
I'll admit that I did go out and practice a little bit this morning.
I would do the same.
What's the break like on the slider? What's the break on the slider? A couple inches now?
Well, I haven't thrown a baseball in a number of years, obviously, but I did go out and practice a little bit this morning, and I'm not decided on which pitch I'm going to throw. If it's going to be the curve or the heater, I don't know.
Right.
But,
and so, what's the date and the place and the time?
Well, I think the show will be out after the show will be out after this happens. I think, unfortunately. Yeah. So, but don't worry, he'll have a cheering section today.
Okay. Well, we're talking about community policing and the officers being engaged and such. We have a police department foundation. Why don't we talk about that a little bit? Because if you're listening, you could get involved with the foundation to further the cause.
Right, yeah. Tehachapi Police Foundation was founded by myself and then Lieutenant Darrell Brown, who was a reserve lieutenant for me at the time. And it's just a way to kind of bring the police department and the community together. They're a nonprofit organization that goes out and does fundraising. They provide necessary equipment for us that maybe might not necessarily be within my budget. They provide barbecues for us, different things to really just support the police department. And they're just a great organization, a great group of volunteers, all volunteers, and they come out, do a lot of really good things for us. Sponsor our shop with a cop, where we bring in 20 kids from the community and take them on a shopping spree at Christmas time. Sponsor the trunk or treat,
National Night Out.
National Night Out. They bought protective vests for our load-bearing vests for our guys, and there's just a lot of great stuff that they do, and they continue to do that. So we're in the process right now. I don't have all the details, but we're in the process right now of planning our first charity golf tournament. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be running a golf tournament here, I believe, late July, and we're going to be, I think, 50-some golfers, but it's going to be a pretty good time.
We should have a Tehachapod team.
Do you really want that?
Not really, because I don't know how to golf. I could drive the cart.
I can hit a ball.
Can you?
A couple of them
Could
straight.
You carry Key and I?
Get a couple of them straight. Yeah.
As long as it's a best ball tournament.
It is. It'll be a scramble.
It's going to be the best ball tournament, and we've got a Louis Creighton's one of our foundation members. He's planning that. He's kind of spearheading that whole thing. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time, and I'm going to break out my clubs that probably haven't been out. The clubs have been out maybe about 5 or 7 years ago. So
be a good excuse.
It's okay. You'll actually play. You'll probably play really well. I did that not too long ago. I hadn't played in like 3 years, and I said, okay, some family wanted to go out and play. Actually, I played pretty well. I'm like, this game is easy.
Right. I just feel like my athletic ability is being challenged here with throwing out the first pitch and now having to play golf.
And you just got done coaching another basketball season. You do that every year. I did. Your family's always been involved in basketball.
I did coach basketball. I did 2 teams this year, a kindergarten team and a first and second grade team.
Oh my! You have a lot of patience.
So that was a lot of fun. It's always fun. I coach my grandkids, and it's good time.
Yeah, that's amazing.
For sure.
Hey, I want to roll back to what's going on within your department, and we kind of touched on. You haven't really released it yet, but can you give us a little bit of sneak preview on this crime prevention program that you want to implement and get out to the public?
Yeah. So again, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the crime that happens here in Tehachapi, particularly our property crimes, are all crimes of opportunity, and I think we need to do a better job as a police department to really educate people on what they can do to prevent crime and to help us reduce crime here in the city. Because when you ultimately look at it, it's a shared responsibility between law enforcement and the community for crime prevention. And to avoid these incidents where people are leaving their keys in the car and leaving their car unlocked with valuables inside and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start really pushing out a program that started back in Florida, I believe in 2017. It's a hashtag 9 p.m. routine, or for the old people like myself, pound 9 p.m.
I don't know who changed that and why.
I don't know.
But
Right.
Twitter.
It's Twitter. It's pound to me. But anyway, but I guess it's a hashtag 9 p.m. routine. And basically what that is just a reminder to people at about 9 o'clock at night before you go to bed. Make a quick check. Go out and make sure that your car is locked. Turn on your exterior lights. Activate your alarm systems. Make sure that you don't have things laying out that are inviting criminal activity outside of your home, okay? And if everybody kind of gets into this habit of doing this routine every night, a lot of the opportunities for crime are going to be reduced, because what happens is these criminals, again, are looking for these easy opportunities, and what they'll do is they'll go through neighborhoods, they start checking car doors, looking for that vehicle that's unlocked. They find that vehicle that's unlocked, and they go in and, okay, what are they going to find in there? Are there valuables left in there? Did the keys get left in the car, and now the car is gone? Did the garage door opener get left in the car? And now they're inside.
Right.
Now they're inside your garage. Okay,
Wow.
There's just a lot of things that can happen, and you know, I don't want to offend anyone when I say this, but a lot of times, you know, people still act like we're in 1978, 1980 Tehachapi. While I wish we could be that way and wish we could leave our keys in the car and leave our houses unlocked, unfortunately, society's not like that anymore. You know, we have to be aware of our surroundings. We have to assume that there are criminal offenders out there looking for those opportunities to commit crime. And we have to be responsible and take care of our property and make sure that we reduce that opportunity for them.
Yeah, I don't think I ever, when I grew up in Golden Hills, and I don't think we ever locked our front door. I mean, it was just, neighbors were more spread out. We didn't have, you know, a little more room, but you knew everybody in the neighborhood. We were kind of off the beaten path a little bit. Now I think about it, I'm like, that was crazy. When we would leave for like a vacation, sure, we'd lock up, but during the day, there was never a locked door.
And that's not just Tehachapi. I mean, this is nationwide.
Exactly.
Small communities now have, you know, the petty crime turns into a bigger crime.
Right.
And we need to keep it at bay. So keep it at the minimal as we can.
And they see small communities as a target because we're so trusting, as I mentioned before, and we're sometimes naive to the reality around us, and that there are that sort of because you all do such a good job of keeping that reality at bay. I think people get a little naive of, you know, not realizing that element exists.
Yeah, but you know, all of these things really help out, and just the lighting and locking your car and all of those things really have the potential to have a significant impact in our community as far as reducing crime. And we're just asking people, just look out for your property.
Okay. I think that key message, my takeaway is, it's my responsibility to take care of my things. I can't just say, well, why didn't the police department take care of that? Because it's up to me to close the garage door. It's up for me to lock my doors, or like you said, turn on the lights. Personal responsibility will reduce opportunity for criminals to take advantage of us.
Right, absolutely. And as much as we'd like to, we can't be everywhere at once. We cannot be everywhere at once. And it just, the more people involved in trying to prevent crime in the community, the better off we're going to be collectively. And we need help.
So
we need help.
Yeah, and I have on my notes here also, how can the public help? But I think we just talked about that, right? Yeah. Being aware of your surroundings, being engaged, and providing the pound pass. What was it? 9 p.m.
Hashtag 9 p.m. routine.
Pound 9 p.m. routine.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's another podcast, actually. So we could actually have a podcast dedicated to educating people about pound.
That's right. Yeah, and we'll push some stuff out over our social media, and again, kind of nightly reminders. I might not get it out every night, but just reminders to go out and check your stuff around 9 o'clock or before you go to. You know, some people go to bed earlier. Just check all your stuff and make sure everything's locked up, and turn those lights on. You know, the lights are really a huge deterrent. The criminals don't like to be out in the light, and you turn on that porch light, keep it on all night long, and it's really a big help. You'd be surprised at some of the neighborhoods you go through, and you walk and you drive down the street and you see that it's just completely pitch black. And you know, you turn on a few lights, it really makes a difference, because they want to operate under darkness, and they don't want to be seen. So turn those lights on and really pay attention to what's going on around. And I encourage people also to, you know, call if you see something that doesn't look right in your neighborhood. That's one, you know, huge benefit again of being in a small town. We all know each other, and you know what belongs in your neighborhood, what doesn't belong in your neighborhood. And if you see something that doesn't look right, call us, and we'll get somebody out there to take a look at it. And a lot of times that's how we prevent crime from occurring. You know?
I speak a lot at different, different luncheons and things, and I always encourage people, call TPD. Don't be afraid to call 911. Right. You might be the last piece of the puzzle that we're looking for. Right. If it doesn't sound right, if it doesn't feel right, don't be afraid to call.
We had one just the other day. We had someone called. They saw a suspicious vehicle over in the parking lot of the closed Tractor Supply. They called, said, this doesn't look right. We sent somebody out. We couldn't find the vehicle that we were looking for. They happened to get a license plate number. We checked the license plate number, and it actually returned as a stolen vehicle out of the Los Angeles area. We continued to look for the vehicle, couldn't find it. Short time later, a citizen informant called again. The vehicle had returned, and we ended up locating the vehicle and apprehending the suspect. So again, you know, somebody saw something that didn't look right, alerted us to it, and assisted us in catching a bad guy.
Even too, the maintenance portion of your property comes into effect as well. You know, you have fewer of those dark corners, you have fewer of those really tall hedges, vehicles that aren't running on the side, things like that. And this helps you all in your job when you're looking for folks, but also it helps. It just helps not provide those hiding spaces for people looking to commit crime.
Good point.
Yep, absolutely. And then, you know, we can get into broken windows theory and the appearance of your property and how that contributes to crime, and you know, we can possibly talk about that some other time.
The code enforcement show.
There you go.
Yeah. There we go.
It does matter.
Part two.
It all fits together.
Right. But, you know, we did that a couple of years back. We did two neighborhood improvement projects, which was a program that I really enjoyed and really thought was a fantastic program. Unfortunately, it's really takes a lot of resources to really run that program effectively and manage it. And we've just been so busy with other things, we haven't had an opportunity to really continue with that program. You know, the idea was we were going to kind of systematically work throughout the community and go through each neighborhood. But, you know, we did cleanup projects that worked really, really well as far as broken windows theory type stuff, and it really improved the conditions in those neighborhoods. And I think it worked well. And, you know, hopefully that's something maybe we can continue later on down the road. So,
well, we have a volunteer group, an award-winning volunteer group, Love Tehachapi.
Yeah, and I think that's where they start. Right? That's where we kind of that's where they kind of initially got their launch, was from that first neighborhood improvement project.
And neighborhood improvement project actually won an economic development award because of the economic, the investment that happened after the two events we did on the north side, the business and the residential investment that then resulted as a result of the cleanup, won an award from the California Association of Local Economic Development.
Key and Corey, you guys both participated in that, as well as, you know, several of the council members. They came out, and church groups from all over the community, and it was just really, amazing effort. And to see what happened when we were out there, and it started off really small, and then just everybody came and joined in and started helping out and cleaning up the neighborhood, and it really was kind of contagious of what happened out there.
Reduction in crime and an increase in property value.
Well, and that pride. I mean, you and I were working the dumpster there, and we actually saw someone came and dropped off stuff, and then they saw someone was struggling not far away. They went over and helped, and they had never met those neighbors, introduced themselves, and then started helping them clean up their yard.
Right. And we were really focused on eyesores too.
Right.
You know, and we found out a lot. I know Chief and I, this is my favorite story of these, because people would have, whether it was a couch or a chair, and a lot of folks inherited this stuff. It wasn't theirs, it was their landlord's. And so we went to a house and there was this like kind of funky couch on the porch, and Chief says, "You want us to take that?" And the lady said, "Well, you know, I would, but it's actually my landlord's." He goes, "No problem, we'll take care of it." And he grabbed one and I grabbed the other. We threw in the back of my truck and off it went. You know, it was one of those kind of eyesore targets as well.
Yeah, no, that was a good program, and again, I hope that we can reestablish that further on down the road. So, and Greg mentioned crime reduction. You know, we did have a fairly sizable crime reduction that we realized last year. It was about 11.5% reduction. While I really I like to see that, and I like to see that crime reduction, I don't hang my hat on that all of the time. I want to continue to do better. I want us to continue to work harder and continue to try and reduce crime here in the community. You know, we can look at numbers all day long, and does it really tell the whole story? I don't know. You know, I like to think it does, but there's so many different factors that come into crime occurring in a community, and is reporting down because of COVID, all of those things. Mm-hmm. Is it really telling the whole story? What I really like to look at is more perception of how are people feeling. And do people feel today that it's safer today than it was a year ago? And I don't know if I can say that, because, you know, we have, you know, auto theft problem and catalytic converter thefts. And, you know, I have to do a better job, and we're going to do a better job to getting out there and trying to reduce crime, educating people on these things, and really making an effort to make this, or Tehachapi, continue to be a safe place to live.
That last 1 minute was exactly why you're the police chief of Tehachapi. That's a perfect statement.
He hit on some things that I've done research in different areas, and they always talk about the 3 E's. There's engineering, so you can change things physically. There's education, which is huge, and there's enforcement. And you're looking at all three of those aspects for public safety, for making people feel like they can walk down the street at night and they feel good about where they're at. Right. And there's all of those ingredients that are involved in it. And it's a partnership.
Right. No, absolutely. And that's an excellent point, Key. That's what I want. I want people to feel safe any time of the day or night in anywhere in the city. I don't want to have areas in the city where people are afraid or concerned to go to because they feel they're going to be a victim of a crime. Okay, that's not a city where I want to live, or a city where anyone wants to live. Okay, and I'm entrusted with that responsibility to make sure that people feel safe in those areas. Okay, and you know, those who know me, I mean, you'll see me all over town. You'll see me walking all over. When I'm off duty, you'll see me walking all over town. You'll see me running at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning through downtown Tehachapi. Okay, I feel safe at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, it doesn't bother me, but I want everyone to feel that way. I want the housewife that wants to go out for her morning walk at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning to feel safe going out and doing so, and not feeling like she's going to become a victim of a crime. Okay, that's what I want.
Well, and Chief's kind of misleading you. He's never off duty. There is no off duty. This man is never off duty. He may not have his uniform on, but he is never not on duty.
True that.
Well, we've kept you longer than I promised. So, but I think this has been a really good conversation. And hopefully we hit on some points that people listen to and take to heart, because there was some good messages here that we can, you know, internally take and put into play that help all of us. Yeah. Right. Like you said, that partnership. So we've got the hashtag or pound 9 p.m.
Pound 9 p.m. routine, and we're going to be pushing that out on our social media as well. So we'll get that out there. But hopefully this was good. I'm not public speaking is not my thing. I don't like public speaking. I'm more comfortable in an alleyway at 2 o'clock in the morning with a bunch of gangsters than I am at speaking in public. Or,
You did an
That's
outstanding
what I
job.
want my police chief to feel more comfortable, is
But he
dealing
did
with
an
the bad
outstanding
guys.
job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
But is there anything that maybe we didn't touch on that you would like to get out?
No, we've got a great department. We've got a great community that really supports our department, and our guys are going to continue to go out there and work hard. Despite challenges that we're facing from Sacramento or wherever they come from, we're going to continue to go out there and work hard and try and put bad guys in jail. That's what we do. That is our role, and that's what we're going to continue to do. And I want people to feel safe here in the city of Tehachapi.
And I'd also, for those prospective police officers that are thinking, this may be an agency I'd want to work for, this police chief doesn't sit behind his desk and call the shots from in the office. You're out there in the field. I've seen you make traffic stops. I've seen you back up officers. So you're out there rolling up your sleeves and getting your hands involved.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. The sunburn here is from spending about 7 hours out in the field yesterday, helping the guys out. We were really busy yesterday doing a warrant, and just was kind of a busy day. And it was an opportunity for me to go out and work side by side with my guys and help them do what they need to do out there. So we don't have all the time. We don't have a lot of resources, and I'm one, and I'm perfectly capable of going out there and doing that job along with them. So, and I enjoy doing it. I enjoy working with them and watching them work and seeing them interact with the public. So
if you want to follow the Tehachapi Police Department on social media, you've got a Facebook page. It's Tehachapi Police Department. Police Foundation also has a Facebook page. It's Tehachapi Police Foundation. So you can follow both of those social media sites. And then also on our website at Live Up Tehachapi, the police department has a page which we are
working
revamping
on a bigger,
and
better
upping
one.
and-
Yeah, there'll be a standalone police department page with its own URL pretty soon, which folks can get a lot of information about. Whether this is new crime prevention plan, recruitment, all that good stuff will be on there. So I'm excited to get that going here in the next few months.
And if you do have a question or something that you see, it's 822-2222. Of course, 911 for emergencies. But we have a police dispatch center is operated 24 hours a day. So you're going to get someone live and local. You're not getting shipped to Bakersfield or Bishop. It's right here in downtown Tehachapi where our police department's located. So, guys, in closing, anything you want to?
They're good. Thank you, Chief, for everything you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You and all of
And,
your employees.
yeah, thanks for having me. Great opportunity to get on here and just talk about some of the things that we're doing in the police department.
You're here.
Chief's got to go finish his bullpen session now so he can
Yeah.
get warmed up for that big moment.
Yep. Well, Chief, thank you so much. Stay safe. Stay safe for all your troops. We appreciate everything you guys do.
Okay.
And to the public, if you've got a question for Chief Kroeger, you can send it to us and we'll get it to him. You can send those emails to media@TehachapiCityHall.com. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to a future conversation with Chief Kroeger as we're going to explore code enforcement and other crime prevention programs that he'll be working on. And that's all coming up. We appreciate the time right here on Tehachapod.
Tehachapod is a conversation about Tehachapi designed for the people who live here or who would like to know more about this mountaintop community. If you have a question you would like answered, email media@TehachapiCityHall.com. We will try to answer it on a future episode of Tehachapod.